yourself. What are you doing here?
I'm working in Wingcloud.
Okay.
Working on Wingcloud. Doing stuff for Wing and Wingcloud. And we're talking today. We're going to talk about Wing libs.
Right.
Wing libraries.
Right. So Elad, we used to work together at the previous company that was we were working together for how long? 7 years.
Yeah, I joined Rollout in 2016.
Yeah. So you joined the company that I co-founded and we worked together for a long time. And then the other company, the company that acquired us, Cloudus, we worked there. And I was super excited to have you join the Wing, and I'm glad you're here. And today in the show, we're going to have 3 subjects. The first one is creating a Fifo Queue, which is something that we actually did a couple of days ago. So let's do this on the Winglang. And then we're going to have Mark to join us for the changelog. And then we're going to have Revital for a good first issue. And that's going to be the show. So I hope you enjoy. Send messages and talk to us. So Fifo Queue, Elad. First of all, so the cloud queue that we're using is not Fifo. That's the first thing that needs to point out. And it turns out that it's easy to create distributed queues that are not Fifo, and it's cheap. But creating Fifo queues that actually maintain first in, first out, it's not as cheap. So there's 2 options, right? That's basically how I kind of understand this thing. It's if it was cheap, I mean cheap in terms of performance, in terms of infrastructure and engineering and architecture, and then in terms of price. And messages, interesting. And then we have the cloud queue, which is not Fifo. And you need a Fifo queue. Why do you need a Fifo queue, Elad?
We want to, we are building Wingcloud, and Wingcloud we have the concept of environments. Environments basically represents like you can think about it about a specific commit that you want to a Wing app with a specific commit that you want to run.
Okay.
And we run it for you.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that we want to kind of we want to manage it like in isolation, right? You can't have commits are coming, right? You have a bunch of operations you need to do on the environments. You want to create environments. You want to restart it. You have a different commit. You open NPR, close NPR.
Got it.
And we want to. We got to have order, right? It's not sufficient the order, but it's a requirement.
Yeah. So you need to have both order of events coming. You want the user commits to the code, then it does another commit, and then it closes the PR. You don't want the same system that actually handles the closing of the PR to run at the same time that the commit, because closing a PR will turn the preview environment off, and a commit will create a new preview environment. So if you put this in order, you say, give me a commit, I'll do the work, and then a commit, and then in the end, I'm going to react to the closing the PR.
Exactly. Yeah. And so we want this kind of serialization, but we also want other stuff to happen in parallel, right? If stuff that are coming from different branches or different repos, there's no problem that will happen in the same time.
Right, and we're sitting next to each other in the office, and I came back from a meeting, and you asked me, I need a kind of priority queue. Should I add this to the existing cloud queue abstraction? Immediately I said no. It's a mess. I don't understand. What would it break? It feels like a lot of work of understanding the right abstraction. And we also talked about there's a difference in the push API, for example, because you give it a group ID. In this example, the repo, in the example that you basically just said, or the branch.
Yeah.
The branch. And I said, let's create this in Winglang. And for those of you not familiar with Winglang, it's a repo that allows other people, everyone in the community, to add Wing source code for models, for libraries. Then you can basically kind of npm install it. And that's what you're going to show us. Like let's implement the Fifo Queue in Winglang. Let me put up your screen. Have you shared your screen?
No.
Okay,
Okay,
that's
let me
important. That's important.
Okay, I'm doing it. Okay, my God, I don't want to
Okay, click.
restart it.
Let's see.
Okay.
Share the entire screen.
screen.
Yeah, awesome. And now let's put this on stage. So, no, this is okay. Let's do like this. Sorry. Let's get rid of the this thing. Great.
Okay.
Okay.
So we have this Winglibs repo, right?
Can you get the font a little bit bigger? A little bit bigger.
Yeah. Is that good?
Yeah, that's better. Awesome.
Okay, so we have this Winglibs repo. So as you said, anyone can add like a class, a resource, something that represents a cloud resource, needs
Right.
to run in the cloud.
Right. So we have containers, checks, Bedrock, which
Right.
is and we have Postgres. Awesome.
WebSockets, right?
WebSocket. Yeah.
And the nice thing about this repo is that we kind of take care of the release
Right.
process for you, and you don't have to have an npm account and like
Authoring and publishing
Yeah.
this entire kind of flow, and you don't even have to have an NPM account. Awesome.
Right.
There's also another value when you do when you use them, you can do just bring checks or bring Postgres, and you don't have to do as. That's another value that Winglang give you. Awesome.
Right. So we even have like a shell script that kind of builds the skeleton of your new library for you. So
Yep.
I think you just need to do something like make lib, right?
Yep.
And then the name of the lib, and we're gonna call it WinQ,
Fifo Queue, yeah.
Fifo Queue.
Awesome.
And that created a bunch of stuff for us.
Right.
We have new GitHub workflows that
Yep.
gonna, when we open a pull request, it's gonna wing test for us, wing back, and then on release, it's gonna actually release it for npm.
Yep. Right.
And
Interesting.
then it created like this folder with libw and libtestw, which
Right.
is basically everything we need.
And the package JSON. Kind of.
And a package JSON,
Yep.
which, yeah. By the way, shouldn't it say the wing or something?
Well,
I don't know.
the version of Wing.
No, like every package is a wing package.
So I think that's the Wing libs.
Or if it's coming from wings.
I think so. I'm not sure.
Okay, so we have in this lib file we have like, a class we're gonna remove.
Awesome.
And let's start with creating the interface of our for Queue.
Awesome.
So you can let's do a pub interface Fifo Queue. And we're gonna have that's the most basic stuff, right? We're gonna have pushing and
Pushing
fetching.
the send consumer, right?
Yeah.
We need the send consumer function and push function.
So let's do the push thing. Push.
The height is killing you, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it's a push and it's an in-flight function, right? It's an
in-flight
function. Yeah.
So yeah, basically the basic queue is the message, right? The one in WinCloud.
Right.
But like we said, we want to have this kind of grouping thing.
Right.
This in our case environments or branch.
Right.
That we kind of the order is in between this group, and everything else is in parallel.
Right. So I push a message with an ID, with a group ID.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
are you going to implement this with
okay. Let's do like a props thing.
Okay. Awesome. So the value for having while you're writing this, I'm going to talk. The value for having kind of creating a struct push props here is basically that the because we're just going to have one option right now. So basically the way to use the push is with a named argument. So it's gonna when I'm going to use push, I'm going to just send a message, and then it's going to be group ID column the key. So it's more readable. So that's why you're doing this, right?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense to do it when you only have one function. And the last one is a set consumer that accepts a handler. This is a pre-flight function, so there's no in-flight modifier. and it accepts a handler that basically send a message. You need an SDR, right?
Yeah.
And the group ID maybe? Yeah.
Let's leave the
Okay.
group ID.
Awesome. Great.
No.
So no messaging? Yeah, exactly. Just the signature.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome.
So now let's
Implement this.
implement it. Right?
Yeah.
Let's implement for AWS. Then
Right.
let's see if we can implement it for us.
Right.
But so
Can you get rid of the command line? I'll do this for you, man. Let me do this. We don't need this, and we don't need this for now. Oh, sorry. Great.
okay. So pub class Fifo Queue.
Underscore
this,
AWS. So this is a convention that we have
Right.
because there's no.
And let's say
So we need a new function.
right. So this AWS is actually the Terraform AWS, right?
Right.
So we need the CD the.
So maybe you should do TF AWS and not AWS actually. Underscore TF AWS.
All right.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah.
So what we need to do is actually bring the AWS provider,
Right.
CDK,
The CDK TF provider.
and I'm not sure how to bring it, so maybe I can.
You can just copy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly. So we don't know how to bring stuff. We copy it.
Okay. Let's say.
You don't need the CDK lib. This is
No.
WebSocket is you can
Yeah.
take something like awesome. Great.
Let's install it.
Okay, great.
And now we can do something like we can bring it, right?
Yeah, bringing
How do you call it?
CDKTF. Yeah. Probably not AWS. You're going to use AWS for something else for Marcia's one, right? Oh, it's okay.
What?
Oh, it's okay.
You mean the utils?
The AWS utils. Okay, right. So we're using AWS. We're looking for an SQSQ. So we're basically instantiating an SQSQ. But one of the config for SQSQ is Fifo, right? It's,
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's a Fifo. Okay.
Yeah, awesome.
So there's Fifo Queue. You need to reach through. And then another thing that's special to AWS is that they have this kind of idea of deduplication.
Right. So I've seen Christian mentioning this. What's that means? That you're not going to get
Yeah, they basically it's like a way to not
make everything even more expensive.
I think
right?
it's like connected to that exactly once.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And so if we do that, that means the messaging ID is based on the actual message.
Okay, awesome.
And that's gonna be our queue.
Right.
And now
do we need to do another thing?
Thinking about yeah. Okay.
You're already thinking about the ARN and the queue URL.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay.
So let's do the set consumer part.
Right. You need to add the pub here. Pub set consumer.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Great.
also right.
Implements Fifo Queue. That's going to be shouting at us because you didn't implement the pub inflat pub push. Awesome. Great. Now it's not shouting at us anymore.
Yeah. And now we need to
Do you mind getting the left side away?
Yeah.
Awesome. Great.
And now we need to kind of create the handler, right? We need to create a Lambda function.
Right. So we need to basically create a Lambda function that will take this in-flight handler, the closure, and run it.
Actually, for the Lambda function, we can use the cloud construct.
Right. So you could have created an AWS specific function, but it's easier to create a new cloud function, and you know that within this target, the dependency injection mechanism or the platform mechanism will give you the actual AWS function.
Right.
Yep.
And okay, then this Lambda function needs a bunch of permissions to fetch stuff from the queue
Yeah.
and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So I'm going to
Exactly
copy
the
it.
stuff that Wing does for you.
Right.
And you have to do this by yourself. So you're copying it from Wing. You're going into the Wing and you're looking at the
Yeah.
queue, and you're going to copy all those stuff.
Don't set consumer, but we're going to copy.
Here it is.
Yeah.
And this, so what you're doing here, you're basically giving that Lambda function. You need to cast it into an AWS function, right?
Yeah, that's what we talked about earlier.
Right. Yeah, AWS utils, I think, right?
It's,
As AWS utils.
Yeah,
I think.
Oh, yeah, because of that. Okay. And now we kind of need to if let
FN.
yeah.
Okay.
AWS util
Dot function. This is a nice helper function that is it function and then it accepts a Lambda? Yeah?
No, it's a
Function from Lambda. Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So now we have this function, that policy statement on.
Yeah, and then we have to give them the queue arm. So let's be honest. The first time you did it, you didn't pass the queue arm. You did this dot queue, and you basically created when you first implemented this, you created a member with the queue. But now you're basically just saving the ARN as a member of this class and not the queue. That's because there's a lifting bug. Lifting is a mechanism that takes kind of pre-flight class or an instance of a pre-flight and lifts it in your in-flight. So it creates an in-flight client out of it, and it didn't capture the ARN correctly.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we both knew what the problem is because I don't remember the bug. If someone can find that bug about lifting, that would be great to post it here.
Not sure what this one is taking. I think it's function.
So this is the event source. Basically, when you're getting
this is the thing that connects the.
Yeah. So when you're getting a message into the queue, this will trigger that function with this queue.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's function, and then it's.
You need the IRN again.
With the lambda name. Yeah. Okay. The function name, and then the ARN.
There's something with the completion too aggressive, right? Or maybe it's because we're on a big
I
font.
think it's something with the size of the window.
Yeah, the size of the window and the font
makes it insane.
Yeah. So function is not a field in Lambda, so it's not function. What was it?
Function name.
Yeah. Great.
Okay.
Strongly types. If we were in Java right now, JavaScript, we would think, this is great, everything is working. Oh God.
World of pain.
Yeah.
Great. All right. So that's the set consumer by, right? We created the function and handler, cloud function. Then we can just like trigger. We're going to trigger it for every function.
Right.
For every queue message.
Right.
And so now let's push it to the queue.
Right.
And we need the AWS SDK for that, right? Because
right. We need the AWS.
We can't do it directly from India.
Right. So when we're using the in-flight function, I mean, basically when we're doing stuff in pre-flight, we need the CDK in order to provision stuff. Kind of CDKTF in this example, but when we're when we're writing in-flight function, we usually need the AWS SDK to interact with the runtime API of AWS runtime API of the AWS resource, the runtime API of the AWS resource. So you have in fact,
it's not client queue.
It's not client queue. Client SQS. I'm assuming. Queue is doesn't make sense. Yeah.
It's what we want it to be.
Yeah, exactly. This is the fact that it's not client queue is the reason that we are here. Yeah. Worked. Okay. Get
Yeah.
close some.
We'll
Get
do
me
it.
some more space. You're killing me here. Okay.
And
See if this
so-
is bigger. Oh, let's try this thing. No.
So we're gonna need the next one, right? Next one to do a JavaScript call.
Yeah.
Let's call it the file mws.js. Then pub, that doesn't need to be public. In flight.
Right. Doesn't need to be applied. Static.
Static. Let's underscore push.
Right.
And then it needs the queue URL you have to pass it.
Okay. So
Which is a
string
string, the message,
and the ID. Right.
and then group ID.
Group
right?
ID. Okay.
And then you complain that the file doesn't exist yet.
Right. So
then
we create this. You know, you can create this with a click.
What do you mean?
I mean, you could have just clicked on the extern and just go to file. It would automatically create your file.
What?
Close delete the AWS.js file.
Yeah, it just okay. Really?
Yeah, sure, check it out, man. Delete the AWS file.
Can't believe it.
Yeah, just click on it. Create file.
Amazing.
Amazing. Courtesy of Mark and VS Code together. They teamed up together to make this happen.
So I don't know what we need here, but we require the AWS SDK, right?
Right.
Discuss.
Right.
And we need, what do we need?
You need to copy paste from Q in flight in Wing. That's what you need. I think so, right?
Send message.
Yeah, I mean you need to create.
No, we're gonna do it. It's gonna be okay.
Okay. I know those things. I don't know those things. Okay.
Then we're gonna export a function that need to be called
underscore push. Right.
Push.
It's an ASIC function, right?
Yeah. Doesn't have to be, but yeah.
It doesn't matter.
What?
Async function. That's it. You just need to create a function, right? It takes three. You don't need const. You need. It takes three parameters. The first one is string Q URL. The second one is message. The third one is QID. Yep. String.
And we can do a new SQS client.
Great.
And then client send.
You need to give it a message, right? New SQS and message command. That's that.
Now I'm not sure what we need. A message? Who knows?
What do you know the API here?
No, let's copy it again.
Okay. So now we're going to Wing. Now we're going to Wing with massive CommonJS stuff. But
Okay, need the QRL message body.
it's a good question. I think we do work in with ESM, but only in in-flight. So it's better to go with require for us, right? I mean,
But what are you talking about?
the require versus import. Matthew is mentioning.
I think basically it can work. I think there's a bug here.
Yeah.
Basically, it can work with module files, right?
Yep.
You can do import. We use it in a bunch of projects,
Right.
and it works. But I think there's specific problem with the wing libs that it doesn't pack your.
Oh, really?
You know,
Interesting.
if you don't call it think JavaScript, then it will doesn't pack it.
Yeah, the MJS will not pack it.
Yeah, then
Yeah. So this is a good question from Matthew. So I hope we gave you an answer. There's a bug, you can fix it, Matthew. We need your help. That's the answer. And now we have the group ID. Awesome.
Right.
Great.
And that's it.
That's
here.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, just
Okay.
send in a message. And here we're gonna just call it with the Q. Okay, we need the QRL. We need to save
Okay.
it.
So again, we're saving the Q URL on the member of the class, the pre-flight member of the class, and this will be lifted. And, awesome. This URL. No, just URL. Message and group.
And
Option dot group ID. Exactly. Awesome.
all right.
Great. This is it, basically, right? I mean,
And this is it. No, it's not it. But
it's not it.
no, the thing is, Cloud Function expects.
Oh, I know what's missing.
Yeah, basically we can't have a string because when AWS invokes your Lambda, it doesn't pass you a string, right? It passes you a JSON.
Right.
And JSON has a bunch of records,
Right.
which records are basically your messages, and then each record has a message.
Right. So basically, kind of the way we're doing this is thinking that the API sends you a string, but it doesn't. The API sends you a JSON object with records. Awesome.
So let's create a struct that will hold us our
Interesting.
Our data, right?
So yeah, it's going to be a record with a capital I.
Yeah, capital I. Yeah.
And which includes a record, right?
Yeah.
SQS record.
So we only need I think it's called the body. So
okay, body string.
And then we have records, bunch of
array of records.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, makes sense. And the reason you're doing this because you don't want to parse the JSON, go over the JSON. You want to basically you want to take, right? You want to use this system ability to kind of parse and verify.
Yeah. So what happens now? I have to pass it a string because Cloud Function only accepts if I try to pass it JSON.
Yeah, right.
It's going to go plain.
Right.
It's not a string. So I'm going to pass a string. Actually, in real time, it's going to be JSON.
Right.
So I'm going to unsafe cast it.
Oh, interesting.
The great unsafe cast.
Okay, I understand. The great unsafe cast.
Yeah. And that's going to be a JSON.
Okay.
And we're going to tell it we're going to tell the compiler which is JSON.
Awesome.
And then we can do SQS event from JSON.
Awesome.
JSON.
No, JSON. Right.
And then I think we can just iterate over the records.
Right. For R in. Okay. Record. Wow. In records. It's a capital R.
And then
we can call the handler, right?
Yeah. For record body.
Awesome. Okay, so what we've done here, we've created kind of a proxy to the actual function, and the proxy basically takes the unstructured, it's not a string, the JSON, actually the structured information, parse it, or basically unsafe cast it even, not even parse it, and then turn it into a record struct, and then call the actual handler function. Awesome. Great. Mm-hmm. Are you going to write a test for this?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, so let's write a test.
Obviously, we're going to write tests. And yeah, it's even like we already have the test file, right?
Right.
And then we just need to create it.
Right.
So this is our queue.
Yep.
And let's say the test is we want to make sure that two messages of the same with the same group ID are treated serialized, right?
Right.
So let's do it. Serialize.
By the way, Matthew is mentioning that he only writes bugs. He doesn't fix them. We also need people like this, Matthew. We're glad that you're here. God knows that I'm one of those. Okay.
Serialize the consume messages with the same group ID.
Awesome.
I don't think we can rewrite it serialized.
There's no. I mean.
Nobody say.
No, there's no. I mean, you can't expect serialized to be like this.
No. Yeah. So let's push the queue. Let's push message 1 with group ID
1.
Okay. And then let's push message 2 with the same group ID.
Right.
And wait, let's consume it. But
yeah. So we want to consume this. We want to create queue, set consumer, and we want to do. We want to sleep there, right? We want to do util, bring util, right?
What
do you want to sleep here? I mean,
yeah. Okay,
so you need to do bring util. Basically, we're going to sleep doing those things, and we'll make sure that when we're sending two messages with the same group ID, the code finishes only when the two sleeping time is there. So let's do util sleep.
Right. So
10 seconds.
we're kind of mimicking a long jump, right? So we're gonna
Right.
the jump that take 10 seconds, and
Right.
we want to see that after 10 seconds, or maybe a little more.
Right.
Okay,
a little more because of the cold starts.
Yeah, let's set a counter.
Yeah. So we want to see that after 10 seconds, kind of there was only one counter. This thing only ran once, and after 20 seconds, let's do 15 and 25 seconds. This is this has run twice. So we want to do to ourselves. So we want to do, let's sleep for 15 seconds, and then we'll do expect
equal
counter dot peak 1. Great. And then let's sleep another 15 seconds. Even 10 seconds would be okay, but we want to expect this to be true.
Exactly.
This is not the best test because it's going to take 30 seconds to run, but we want to run this test, but we can run this locally because we haven't implemented the local simulator.
No.
We're not going to do this because it was my task and we don't have enough time. No. But let's run this on TF AWS.
So we're going to do wing tests with the TF AWS platform, and then leap test, right?
Yeah. Do you mind doing Control L, Control L? Okay, great.
Let's see what happens.
So this will compile this to TF AWS. Hopefully it's going to work. If it's not going to work, we don't have time to fix it, by the way. But hopefully it's going to work. And that's going to be amazing if it's going to work, because it usually those things doesn't work from the first time and you have to fix the permissions, but maybe we copy pasted enough. And it's going to do Terraform apply and run this test. If the test is going to work, we can just going to say.
By the way, another interesting thing is that we implemented this queue with SQS, right? Which is kind of
right.
It's one way to do it. I didn't know it, but Christian, another member of our team.
Okay.
It's in a PR, but he implemented a Fifo Queue with DynamoDB streams.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Oh, so you can use DynamoDB for a queue like you can use Redis for a queue.
Exactly, yeah.
Interesting.
So if you're already using DynamoDB, so you just use that queue, and this one can be for other platforms that doesn't have DynamoDB.
Nice. Interesting.
Okay. The queue visibility timeout is less than the function.
Yeah. So it didn't work.
It didn't work.
Right, because we didn't add the queue. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
okay.
It's not seconds.
No, it's 120.
Okay, we don't have to wait again. But
Let's
almost.
wait. Almost. Will we wait? I think let's wait. I think if it's going to work, we're not going to wait more than one time. So this is interesting because you created a Fifo Queue, but basically there's two options here: DynamoDB Fifo Queue or an SQS Fifo Queue, which kind of raises kind of a question of what is the right name for this. It's because it
doesn't tell you the implementation.
Yeah, we need a better way for. You immediately think about annotations, right? I mean, I want to provide an annotation for that TF AWS provider to implement this with SQS, or the TF AWS provider implement this with DynamoDB. It's both. I mean,
right.
So in the platform feels like, and I wouldn't write a policy right now to implement this. It's too hard. It feels like we need an easier way to give people the options to choose. So I don't know what that easy way, but we have to look for it. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I don't know if it's annotation, but
yeah.
I mean, you can easily do it with a platform, right? With a custom platform. That's
right, but we need an easy way to do it with a platform. Resolve iFifo Queue with SQS Queue, or so it didn't work again.
Oh, okay. I know. We forgot an important part actually.
What?
We forgot to give permissions to
on lift. We didn't do the on lift.
Yeah. It's very important.
Yeah. So what happened is basically we didn't give the on lift part is giving the it's actually super important. On lift is a mechanism because we need to that function, the compiler needs to give information to the platform, in this example TF AWS, a way to say that this function needs to be able to invoke Right now we gave permissions. Actually, what's missing? Explain to me what's missing. The list. Why do we need
the test function doesn't have the send message.
Oh, the test function is
Exactly,
calling queue push.
Yeah.
Okay, this is super interesting. So the test function is calling queue push. Now, we as the producers of the push of the queue resource, we don't know who's going to use this. I mean, it's by definition we don't know who's going to use this. But the compiler gives us an option. Can you zoom in on this function? Give us an option to implement the on list that says if a host, in this example, it's usually a lambda function right now, but it can be it can also be a container. I mean a workload, a pod. Right. Or Fargate ECS or something like that. So if this function is basically asking permission, what should it do? The function doesn't know what permission it is required, but I know that in order to basically, if you come with the op of push and you didn't do the statement,
we didn't check it.
You didn't check it, but you already know. If your comes with the open push, I'll give you SQS send message permission on myself. That's super important. And I'm glad we came across this. I think that we will have to probably not go through the entire the Vital Good First issue part, but I think this is super important.
Yeah, and the solution is really cool, right?
Yeah,
because
so the only
we are controlling who gets what, like based on what operation, who gets which permission.
Right. It's kind of there's a passing of this responsibility. I don't know how to give you the permission, but I know who knows. So the compiler gives this to the queue, and the queue says, I don't know who this guy, but I have the kind of the interface to add this, and now the tests are running because the test is able to do queue push. Awesome. So now we need to wait about 30 seconds, right?
Yeah, 30 seconds at least.
At least, yeah. Now we need to fix the test so it won't be 30 seconds, but the problem is that we have cold starts, which it's very hard to write tests with when you have cold starts. It's you have to do busy wait. In this example, you have to do busy wait. I mean, it's quite complicated to do this test without waiting a lot for nothing. But the test passes. So we have consume message with the same group ID. It passes, and great job, Elad. Say thank you or something.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for being here.
No, this was awesome. This was awesome. This was very educating for me, and I hope for our viewers. And thank you for doing this. And I'm glad we're back in the same team together. Felt lonely without you, and I have a feeling it's gonna be fun. So.